Okay, so results and prospects. So last week we talked a little bit about the 1905 revolution. We gave some historical context there. I guess this week I won't focus on, in some sense, the context of 1905 because we covered that last week with Rosa Luxemburg's the mass strike and social democracy. However, I'll say a few things or whatnot in regards to the Trotsky this week, or this week the results and prospects. A couple of notes about Trotsky. So, first things first or whatnot. When we're reading results and prospects in 1905, this is not Trotskyism or Trotskyism proper or whatnot. This is still this shouldn't be considered Trotskyism or whatnot. We will be dealing with the phenomenon of Trotskyism later on in the syllabus. But right now we're just dealing with, in some sense, Trotsky or whatnot, or Trotsky as a second international radical. And kind of going with I'll call it mnemonic or whatnot. Mnemonic? Yeah, kind of using the mnemonic. Well, actually, there was no mnemonic. Whatever. Kind of using the kind of little mnemonic I've been using or whatnot the past 3 weeks of, Lenin was left of the party or whatnot. Luxemburg was left on the movement or whatnot. Here we're going to read Trotsky, where Trotsky is left on revolution, or is giving a left critique of revolution. And this is the reason why we read Trotsky or whatnot, or why we're reading results and prospects. Again, this is not Trotskyism. This is Trotsky or whatnot. When we're reading results and prospects or whatnot. This work is being published in 1906 or whatnot. And I would say at this point in time or whatnot, Lenin, Luxemburg, and Trotsky actually occupied much more of a similar position than much more similar positions rather than disparate positions. More to that or whatnot. I guess in context of the 1905 Russian Revolution or whatnot. Later we'll talk about the October Revolution as Lenin's revolution or whatnot, right? And the reason why we'll talk about it as Lenin's revolution or whatnot is because the revolution is very much being influenced by the leadership of Lenin or whatnot. 1905 is very much Trotsky's revolution or whatnot, as this revolution or whatnot, occurs from the masses or whatnot. But the head social democratic leader at this time, the main person or whatnot, who's in some sense who comes out of this revolution as a huge figure or whatnot, is Trotsky. Most notably, Trotsky leads the Petersburg Soviets, the Soviets being the workers' councils that pop up during this time or whatnot. And what I'll say is very interesting about this work, and it is something that you'll notice in a lot of Trotsky's writings or whatnot, is that despite the fact that Trotsky played a huge fucking role in the 1905 revolution, as in, he led the 1905 revolution, he was the head of the St. Petersburg, Soviet and all that sort of stuff. He doesn't really talk. He only has a brief mention of the Soviet in he has a very brief mention of the Soviets or whatnot. And two, he really doesn't talk about his role in the revolution. And this week, this work is kind of peculiar or whatnot, just because in some sense it's Trotsky really taking a bird's eye view or whatnot in regards to the Russian Revolution or the whole situation or whatnot, where he's situating in some sense the Russian Revolution or the 1905 Russian Revolution in world history or whatnot, right? So with that being said or whatnot, I kind of want to get into basically, so with that being said, I guess I'm going to get into basically what Trotsky talks about in some sense I'm going to talk about what Trotsky is talking about when he talks about the peculiarities of Russia or whatnot, right? I believe the first chapter in this work or whatnot, right? So to do that or whatnot, I'm going to give a little capital and history teaching or whatnot. That this is kind of a teaching that's usually Platypus members host or whatnot, right? Near the beginning of the year or whatnot. I'm just going to give a mini teaching of that or whatnot, right? To then explain in some sense of what makes Russia unique. So capital and history or whatnot, or basically this idea of freedom in history, or this idea of universal history or whatnot, right? What is the Marxist conception of history or whatnot, right? So the Marxist conception of history or whatnot, that history is, history moves or whatnot from contradictions or whatnot, right? And that, let me back up. So, the Marxist conception of world history or whatnot, that history has a goal, it has a purpose or whatnot. The end of history or whatnot is the achievement of socialism and communism. The epochs that Marxism considers or whatnot in its account of world history in its account of world history or whatnot is the following or whatnot, right? So for Marxists or whatnot, right, humanity begins, or human civilization begins with communism, right? In primitive communism is basically the epoch before history in which like you basically have hunter-gatherers living together, whatnot, enjoying a nomadic lifestyle where they forage for substance, they live in small bands where resources and property are basically shared with all members or whatnot, from based on the principle of from each according to their ability to each according to their need or whatnot, right? During this time, there's also no like written articulation of freedom or whatnot, but basically this time period is described by anthropologists as like an epoch where people have like egalitarian social relations and common ownership. Then we get into the epoch of traditional civilization, which I guess includes slave society and feudalism or whatnot, right? Focusing more on the latter of feudalism or whatnot. This is where we spend the majority of human history or whatnot, right? So, with the advent of the first agricultural revolution or whatnot, what you see in the history is So the first agricultural revolution was where people began cultivating plants and domesticating animals, becoming settled agriculturalists in the process or whatnot. And in becoming settled agriculturalists, what's new and unique about this time is that people are able to produce a surplus, right? Through one's labor or whatnot, one's able to. What it means for one to be able to produce a surplus is like let's say I toil the fields or whatnot, and I produce more than I can even consume or whatnot, right? So whereas in primitive communism, it's like, I was just foraging for food, I was just taking what I need or whatnot, and I was just resources were distributed among our community or whatnot based off, what people needed or whatnot, right? What's going on here or whatnot is that actually one laborer or whatnot is able to, or one farmer or whatnot is able to produce more than they need themselves or whatnot, right? So in order to maintain an ongoing surplus or whatnot, right? You basically have a necessity arise in society where it's like you actually need a division of labor because of if someone's toiling the land or whatnot, then someone has to deal with, or if someone's toiling the land, someone has to deal with the animals or whatnot, and someone needs to in some sense protect the people or whatnot from ongoing invaders and all that sort of stuff or whatnot. So you have the growth of a need for a division of labor or whatnot, right? That designates some to perform one activity and others to perform another or whatnot, right? And along with this or whatnot, you also have an alienation of the surplus product, which is everyone produces a surplus, but that surplus or whatnot is, in some sense taken from people or whatnot for society as a whole or whatnot. So you have a division of labor, and you also have the creation of hierarchies or whatnot, or the creation of caste society or whatnot, where you have three main estates or whatnot. You have the first estate, which is the monarchy or whatnot, which in some sense it's where all of the surplus product is going to or whatnot, right? You have the second estate, which is basically your clergy or whatnot, or it's your clergy, your nobility or whatnot, where basically it's the people who give a justification for the caste system or whatnot, right? For caste society or whatnot, right? And then you have the third estate, which is basically the producing class or whatnot, right? Feudalism. You have this. So two main notes of feudalism or whatnot is you have you have the alienation of the surplus product, and you have the division of labor or whatnot. And the main thing to remember is kind of the pyramid diagram of the three estates or whatnot, right? As history progresses on or whatnot, you have basically. As history progresses, and I'll say this model or whatnot is basically the history of European civilization or whatnot, just in a very general broad stroke or whatnot, right? Because I will say I'm getting through fucking 2,000 years of world history or whatnot, and just trying to sum it down to 5 minutes or whatnot, right? So with feudalism or whatnot, I guess also I should note that feudalism I guess had this articulation of freedom or whatnot for the ancients, their own articulation of freedom or whatnot, they understood freedom to be active and constant participation in exercising collective decision-making and sovereignty or whatnot, right? Whether that was realized, or, was that realized? No, because of the state system, but that was their conception of freedom or whatnot, right? In some sense, what is the contradiction of feudalism or whatnot? So if in primitive communism or whatnot, you had a community that shares, or, that's sharing everything in common or whatnot, right? The contradiction that arises in feudalism is that you have a community that wants to share everything, or you have a community sharing everything in common that comes into contradiction with the necessity of labor or whatnot, right? So it's like, do people understand why this is a contradiction or whatnot, right? So you have this articulation of freedom of like, active and constant participation or whatnot in sovereignty, but it's contradicted by the fact that there is a necessity of labor, there is a necessity for order or whatnot, right? So there is a division in society or whatnot, right? This is the contradiction that feudalism has or whatnot, right? As time goes by or whatnot, you slowly have these merchants or whatnot, right? You slowly have these. You have these artisans or whatnot, right? You have these artisans who you have these artisans who basically go to towns or whatnot and start urbanizing them. So urbanization occurs in towns, across Europe or whatnot, where artisans become merchants who went into markets to sell their goods or whatnot. And these goods or whatnot would be coming from the products of peasant labor. In this way, peasants became workers. So describing that process or whatnot a little bit more coherently. So it's basically you have these artisans or whatnot, right, who go up to peasants or whatnot and are like, hey, I see that you're producing this stuff. Instead of giving this to your lord or whatnot, I see you're toiling the land. Instead of giving this product to whoever whoever owns you or whatnot, why don't you give me some of your labor? I'll pay you for it or whatnot, and I'll go to the market and sell your stuff or whatnot, right? So you have these artisans basically become merchants or whatnot as they go to these cities or whatnot, as they go to these burghers, which literally means city or whatnot, or urban or whatnot, right? Hence, bourgeois society or whatnot means the society of the city or whatnot, right? You have these peasants who become workers or whatnot as they enter into the cities. You have these merchants or whatnot become bourgeois or whatnot, right? As they as they sell the products, and you have, in some sense, you have labor become a source of value or whatnot. Whereas before or whatnot, labor was seen as like, you're just you're a miserable peasant toiling the land or whatnot. Labor is a source of oppression or whatnot. Here you have labor become a source of value in the sense that labor becomes an activity that goes from oppressing people to becoming one which liberates them, actually, right? Due to the fact that now people can participate in society through non-coercive equal exchange without any sort of mediation of the nobility or clergy, but instead through satisfying the wants of others or whatnot. So labor becomes a value, and labor becomes a source of freedom for people or whatnot, right? So basically the contradiction between primitive communism and the necessity for labor is overcome through this new idea of liberalism or whatnot. Liberalism being this idea that you have a freedom from the arbitrary will of others or whatnot, right? And that you can, you have an individual independence to make your own choices for yourself or whatnot through trade and private leisure or whatnot, right? This is what it means when we talk about in Platypus, or not in Platypus, just with Marxists or whatnot, when they use the term bourgeois social relations. Bourgeois social relations refer to the free and equal associations people have to each other, as constituted by one's own right to their own labor. Because basically, we're all equal to each other by the basis of we all have a right to our own labor or whatnot, right? So the contradiction in feudalism of the necessity for labor and the freedom of the ancients or whatnot gets overcome with liberalism or whatnot, or this new freedom on the basis of labor or whatnot, right? This is the advent of bourgeois society or whatnot, and as you have the bourgeois class build themselves up or whatnot, right, through basically through reforms in the in the nobility, or through reforms or whatnot with the state or whatnot, they eventually lead a revolution or whatnot, right? You have the American Revolution, you have the French Revolution, you have the Haitian Revolution, you have all these revolutions which, in some sense, institute the epoch of the bourgeois or whatnot, right? You have basically the advent of modernity or whatnot, right? Because of this, rapid technical and social progress or whatnot that the bourgeois bring or whatnot, right? And this is revolutionary or whatnot because you have the expansion of art, you have the expansion of culture, you have the scientific revolution, you have everything happens basically at this time. You have the industrial revolution or whatnot, right? In a very real sense or whatnot, right? World history restarts here or whatnot, right? And then you get into the advent of capitalism, where basically in the 1800s or whatnot, you have the Second Industrial Revolution, and what the Second Industrial Revolution does is the Second Industrial Revolution introduces machines which substantially increase the productive capacity of the labor at the cost of undermining the social relations of value. So, as in some sense, as machines are able to produce, so much more or whatnot, the value of one's labor becomes so much more less or whatnot, right? People see that contradiction, right? And as commodities or whatnot, as they're producing capitalism, as commodities gain their value based on the amount of socially required labor time needed to produce them, so commodities gain their value based on commodities are like when you're buying or selling something or whatnot, right? Commodities, they gain their value based on the amount of socially required labor time, right? So it's like how much labor time is net required or whatnot to produce a certain product. That's how much a product costs or whatnot, or that's how it gets its value or whatnot, right? There's a difference between cost and value, but I'm using them synonymously here. It's not going to be an error, but like that's how they gain their value or whatnot. Yet, what machines do is they reduce labor time or whatnot, right? So it's like they're actually reducing that price or whatnot, while also simultaneously maximizing it because, with machines you're able to produce more of these commodities or whatnot, right? But you're undermining the social relations or whatnot, right? So hence, you have this new contradiction, which is this, the bourgeois social relations get contradiction with the industrial forces of production or whatnot, right? So society, if the bourgeois revolution was a revolt of the third estate or whatnot, where it was the revolt of the producing classes or whatnot, right? What you see in capitalism or whatnot, what you see in the society of the third estate or whatnot, is you start to see a division of the third estate or whatnot, where you have increasingly two antagonistic forces: the capitalist class, those who own the means of production or whatnot, right, and the proletariat, which are those who only have own the means of their labor, or only have a right to their labor or whatnot, right? The proletariat who are wage laborers who only have their labor power to sell in order to live or whatnot, right? What makes capitalism unique or whatnot is that, unlike previous epochs of civilization, unlike previous epochs of civilization, what makes capitalism unique is not exploitation. As a large deal of human history or whatnot, as we saw with feudalism and stuff like that, what was exploitation? Or, we saw a minority holding power over a majority or whatnot. But instead, what's unique about capitalism is social domination or whatnot, right? Which is, now you have a phenomenon where all of society is subject to capital or whatnot, right? So, I guess the Marxist task then or whatnot would be the question of, what's it called? Like, can we overcome this contradiction between, between bourgeois social relations and the industrial forces of production? Can we overcome this value of, can we overcome, in some sense, liberalism or whatnot for the sake of, like, a more social freedom or whatnot, right? I just realized I did a capital and history teaching, even though I wanted more to focus on Russia. I'm going to end the recording here and then start it up again and then talk about how Russia's unique in this situation, because I think that's a good standalone, like, capital and history teaching. So let me pause that right here.